to Katie's Playtime and happy Halloween! We are going to make a witch's hat today. So you'll be able to wear your witch's hat on your trick or treat around the streets and be the best there. So what you need for your activity today are 2 large black pieces of cardboard. You also need 2 pieces of felt. Now I've got bright orange and I've got sparkly black. We also need a ruler, a white pencil, an eraser, a pair of scissors, some glue that my freaky hand is holding right now, and also a piece of string. So our first thing we need to do is to fold our first piece of paper in half, and what we're going to do is just try and figure out where the middle of our piece of paper is. So we're just going to dent the bit closest to me, but not all the way up. Then when you open it, you'll have a little mark that indicates where the middle of the piece of paper is. We are now going to use our pencil and our string and our scissors. So what we want to do is we want to have the string as wide as the piece of paper from the middle to the edge. Once we've done that, we're going to add a little bit more because we're going to be tying a knot. So then just tie a knot around your pencil. So what we're going to do is make sure that the pencil is right on the edge of the paper and my finger is holding the ribbon tightly on the middle of the piece of paper where I made my mark. Then we're going to make a nice semicircle, just like that. So now you can see I've made a nice semicircle on my black piece of paper. Our next step is to now cut the semicircle out. And we've now got our semicircle. Okay, so now what we'll be doing is we'll be rolling our semicircle so we can get the point of our hat. So just using the corner first and then just roll it and going in that direction towards you. And now going into the other direction. So there's our cone. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let go a little bit and it's going to widen it. And what I'm doing is I'm using my table as a guide, so then that way the bottom of my cone stays flat. So once we've done that, we're now going to use our staplers and we're going to staple. So what I'm going to do is use the stapler and I'm just going to go further up on the hat, and that's just going to keep it nice and tight together. Okay, so now that we've stapled our hat together, our next step is to measure the diameter of our circle. So using our ruler, we're going to see how wide it is in the middle. So starting from 0, we have got 16 centimeters. So what we're now going to do is on the middle of our sheet, which we'll now fold in half again to see where our middle is, but this time we're going to make our mark in the middle of the paper. Using your ruler, we're now going to measure out 16 centimeters. So 8 being in the center, because 8 times 2 is 16. Hope I'm right. And using your white pencil again, just so then that way we can see it on our black paper, we're just going to draw a line. So now that we've drawn a line, we're now going to use our homemade compass, which is our string and our white piece of paper, and using the middle. So measure it out again. We'll start at 8. So we'll place our finger on the middle. Okay, so we're now going to draw a semicircle again to the other side. Are we ready? It's probably best if I turn that around. We're going to now do that again. We're going to do that on the other side of the line again, and what that's going to create is one perfect circle. So now we've got the circle that fits our hat perfectly. Now what we need to do is we need to make another circle, which is going to be the brim of our hat. So what we'll do is we'll now put my finger in the middle of the center of the circle again, and depending on how big you want your brim of your witch's hat, depends on how big your circle is going to be. So I'm going to make mine quite wide. So I'm thinking, I might have my brim about that wide, which means my pencil is going to have to come to here. So let's measure that out, hold tight with my finger and draw another circle. And we're going to do that again. So I'm going to turn my paper upside down again. Starting point where I started before, hold in the center, and again. Perfect. So now what we need to do is we need to fold our paper so I know where my center is. And on the other side, I'll know where to make my hole. So that is just going to help me get my scissors through the middle. Now we're just going to be cutting the middle circle out, so then that way our hat fits perfectly. Okay, so I've got the circle of my paper ready and I've got my cone ready, and the cone's going to sit perfectly on my circle. So now what I'm going to do is cut little tabs on the bottom of my cone, and then that's going to be able to help me stick it to my hat. So picking up your scissors, and we're just going to cut little tabs, and they don't need to be perfect sizes. So now I'm going to bend the tabs back, and we're going to put it through the center. We're going to flip it upside down, and you'll be able to see where it's going to be glued to. So now, using my glue, I'm going, oh, creepy hand, whoa. Okay, so using our glue, we're just gonna glue around the circle. Now what I'm going to do is, using my scissors, I'm just going to carefully cut around the brim of my hat. Okay, let's just make sure that that's really glued. So you might find some of the tabs are double layered, and that's only because we folded the cone earlier, which created 2 layers of cardboard, so we're just going to glue them down as well. Okay, so I've glued the bottom of my hat, and if you do feel that you're having trouble with the glue sticking all the tabs down, then what you can do is you can sticky tape it down as well. So it might just be a little bit more secure if you do put some sticky tape over it. But I've just used glue, and it has worked for me with the glue, but sticky tape is another option. Now what I'm going to do is, you can just see inside that there's just that little flap happening in there. So I might just run a little bit of glue on that. Now I have a witch's hat, and it needs decorating. It definitely needs decorating. Okay, so now we have to decorate our hat, and I've got 2 pieces of felt to make our hat band around the brim and the cone of our hat. So using our black sparkly, I'm now going to cut some strips, and you only need to cut as thick as you want your band to be. And once you do your first, you've got to make sure your second is the same width. Okay, so now I've got my band. I'm now going to wrap that around the hat. So what you need to do now is you need to glue it. So using your craft glue, and try and put a lot on, just so then that way you know it's not going to move. Okay, so now what we're going to do is stick it to, and I'm going to put glue on the other strip, and we're then going to put that around the back of our hat. So now I'm just going to cut the little edges off. So now I've got a hat band for my witch's hat. So depending on how you put it on is depending on how you want the front. I like this side because I don't like the where it joins at the back. So what I'm going to do is at the front I'm going to now put a little orange buckle. So using our orange felt, we're now going to cut a square. And I'm going to put it over our join there, which is going to sit right there. So just put some glue on that. Okay, so now that's my square buckle. And if I just use some of my black felt and just cut a little strip. So now I've got a buckle on my witch's hat, which looks pretty cool. What you can also do is you can pop some glue on the brim of the hat or the cone. You can put some glitter on there if you like. Green goes pretty well with Halloween too. Oh, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Happy Halloween. I hope your witch's hat looks great for your trick or treat. And don't forget my next Halloween video is coming soon. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye for now. Bye.